It is actually the earth that is revolving. Because we are not able to understand the revolution of the earth, we find the sun is rising. But it is not a fact. That it is not a fact, you accept. Because you know both are objective. The sun is objective and earth also is objective. Let us get away from the earth and then take a picture of the earth. You will find it is revolving. I have seen it in America, I think. It is revolving in great speed. And the earth, sun doesn't do anything. Maybe sun also is revolving with reference to another heavenly body. We are seeing the sun rising, but we understand that it does not rise. Now between the two, which is a fact that guides you, you tell me. If it is the understanding, okay, let us come to the understanding that the world's externality is also a notional creation of the mind. A notional creation of the mind. And about the mind you have no doubt whether it is external or internal. It is internal. Once you agree, Shankara says, Drishyam pradidam pravilapayan san. Every imprint produced by the mind of all external objects, including the world at large, understand that its source is the mind. Its source? Your mind is within the so-called body. And if within the so-called body you incorporate a dimension, something like 1,000,000 kilometers long and 1.5 million kilometers wide, such a big area, can it be contained within the body? No. But nevertheless, are you not experiencing it? You see a well, you see a mustard, you see a mountain, you see the endless sea, and you also see the endless space. All these dimensions, endlessness, who makes it? The space doesn't tell you. You yourself see it and you come to the conclusion. On the basis of what do you say the mountain is bigger than the coconut? On what basis do you say the mountain is bigger than the coconut? Because you see the coconut, you also see the mountain. So the bigger dimension of the mountain, where is it in hearing? In your mind. You have not gone to the mountain, you are at a distance. You have not measured it. But you can precisely say, a bigger mountain is bigger than a smaller mountain remaining at a distance. So our experience is very effective. Am I clear or not? Am I discussing something useful? So our own mind and mind's own notion, idea, that is the ground for our perception, for our vyavahara. The same mind, along with the eyes, goes and stands on the shore of a sea, and it sees a still wider expanse. That is also glimpsed, imprinted in the mind. Once you feel that the mind is within the body, we know the area, the surface inside the body. In such a mind, can there be such a huge dimension? थोड़ा बोलिए ना, हाँ? क्या है? Our body is limited. Within the limited body we have a mind. Normally it will be small. Within the small mind you incorporate dimensions which are very huge and huger and huger. If the small mind, you have to come to one conclusion, one of the two. If the mind is small, how can it produce the huge dimension, make you experience it? So is the mind small or big is a question that you have to answer. Whether it is small or big, it has the capacity to reflect any magnitude that it wants. It will imprint, it will form an imprint of the well, of the tank, of the lake, of the river, of the sea, and also of the space. Now what do you think of such a mind? Is it small or is it big? Whether it is small or big, it has got the potential to produce any magnitude. And such a mind is within the body. So within the limited body, you have got a mind which has got unlimited potential. Are you prepared to come to the conclusion? Huh? If you are feeling so, tell me, be true to what you say. From this moment onwards, I don't allow you to live with a small mind. I have got a mustard mind. What is this? Your body was born of the family, and your family has 4 members. I have no objection. But these are occasions whereby you experience. Your family should be extensive to cover the whole universe. That is why our Shastras say, Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. If you also live like an animal, my family consisting of my married partner and 2 children, even brothers and sisters' children, different. If you start saying like this, you are not a human. You don't have the human elegance, the human dignity, the human honor. You don't have it. We may be born in a house, but we are living in an endless world. Our body is born. This body is only a vehicle to interact with the world and develop in its own manner. The body completes its growth at the age of 21. Thereafter, the faculties to grow are the mind, are the intelligence, are the mind and the intelligence. So that mind should have a family sense. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Akhila Jiva Vatsalaha. The Vatsalya that you have should be for all creatures in this world. Harm none. Help if possible at least some. कमाकर स्वयं ही खाने से हम मनुष्य बनेंगे क्या? हाँ? जितना कमाते हैं सारा कुछ हम खाते हैं और किसके लिए? हमारे बच्चों के लिए देंगे. वाह! This is what even the animal doesn't do, but we are doing. So our dharma shastras are very, very forceful. Ye pachanti atmakaranad. Whoever is cooking food and eating for themselves and their family, bhunjade te tvagam papa. Krishna's words in Gita. They are actually eating sin. If they cook food for themselves and their family alone. You cannot have a world where you alone are there. You cannot have a world where your family alone is there. We are discussing spirituality. All of you think that it is philosophy. For Indians it is not philosophy. For Indians it is experiential living. And every ounce of this philosophy should have its ample reflection in your character, in your behavior, in your interaction. Especially in interpersonal behavior. I don't know whether I told you this story. The story is this, see? One man rang me up saying that I had married very late, I have 1 daughter, we are very religious people, we go to the temple every day, I listen to your Mukti Sudhagara. I have got a daughter, 12-year-old daughter. You know, the daughter tells me, my dear father, you go and take up sannyasa. Then only we will get liberated. And she also says, you see, I am born to you. She may not have used the word biologically. I am born to you and I am your daughter. But please don't have any attachment for me at all. What do you say? Don't have any attachment for me. Look after me and leave me to myself. I will grow. See, a 12-year-old daughter telling these people, father, what do you say? Our country is very, very great. We have this wonderful culture. We are born as human beings. Our term upon this earth is very, very short-living. You may say he has lived for 80 years, 90 years. Draw a graph and show me what is 90 years compared to the infinite length of time. Will it be even a small point? थोड़ा सोचिए ना. हम यहाँ रहते हैं खाने के लिए, पीने के लिए, घूमने के लिए या सोचने के लिए? Install your life in the level of buddhi. Don't install your life in the level of the senses, even in the level of mere emotions. No, no, no. Install it in the level of understanding. 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 It's not standing under. Understanding, intelligence, that is what we want. So, I don't want to leave this portion. Shankara is asking us to dissolve the entire visibles in your own mind. Hey, Sambhav, hey ya nahi? Every thought, every emotion rises from the mind. Maybe endures for a short while and it subsides in the mind. Then why are you afraid? Why are you afraid? A desireful thought or a thought in the way of a desire will also subside. A thought of hatred will also subside. A thought of fear will also subside. Can you extract a thought from your mind and show me? Boliye na. Please extract one thought and show me. You believe in objectivity, you believe in solidity, you believe in grossness. Tell me, are the thoughts gross? If they are not gross and you believe only in grossness, is the thought illusory or real? Boliye na. If it is not illusory, show me. I must be able to see it. As long as it cannot be extracted and its duration also is not substantial, why are you to worry about it? Are you not a fool of the first order to worry about your thoughts? चुप रहते हैं क्यों? बोलिए ना. Are you not a fool to worry about your thought? What is this? जहां से उसकी उत्पत्ति हुई है वहां ही वो मिट जाती है. It is not lasting at all. And we are worried, we are worried, we are worried. We have nothing else to do. Every thought arises from the mind. It inheres in the mind, it dissolves in the mind, whether you want it or not. The mind is a process, it is not a substance. It's always revolving between the past, present and future, like the blood that is circulating. Because it is revolving, why are you worried about it? Every day when you wake up, many things come to your mind, the mind brings. And the same mind tells you, these are the items of priority and these can be done later. Who gives you the notion of priority? Mind. Who gives you a list of items? And who pursues them? What is the trouble? Allow the mind to do so. Suppose there is an unfavorable thought, understand that it is unfavorable. Hey, ये तो अच्छा नहीं है, मुझे नहीं चाहिए, छोड़ दीजिए, बात सोचिए मत. It came, what it came? So many things have come. See, we are not able to understand the point. I think I am a master in this mind making and mind handling. We should open a university for this. So many people are suffering. I don't know why. Somebody has died in the house. So I ask them, have you killed him? No. What has he done? He has died and you are living. Just like you are living, the other person has died. Why are you grieving? You are also going to die. When you say somebody has died, it is something wrong, is it not? At least that wrong should not befall you. What are you going to do? Boliye na. What are you going to do? See? The stealth in you. Boliye na, what are you going to do in this world? सभी तो नहीं बोलते हैं ना. जोर से बोलिए ना. Will you also die or not? Now here is one has died and you are dying. And you are grieving over him. But you are not grieving, oh, he has died, I am also going to die, I am also going to die. That you don't say. See the partiality and the delusion working in man. If you say you have died, then you should not die. All the people in this world have only died. And that is what sustains the world. If all the forefathers were to live here, खाने को एक टुकड़ा भी नहीं मिलेगा यहाँ. People have to die. Have to die. We shall also die. You are not supposed to worry about the death. You have to live gloriously till the last point. That is what we want. You are not dying here. You are only living. Only living. So I think this mind is a jugglery. One thought you cannot extract. It has got no solidity, no grossness, no experimental nature also. Then why are we worried? See, there are some people who have a bad dream. Maybe a dream where one feels that I have killed my parent or a relative. Early in the morning he wakes up. एक स्वप्न तो हुआ, महापाप कर दिया है, अब क्या कर रहा है, मंदिर जाओ, कुछ करो. Actually the right understanding is it was a dream. I have not killed anybody. I had a dream that I have killed. It's only a dream. Have you killed physically? No. Then should you understand it as a dream and illusory, or should you go to the temple and do some redressal there? Now, are you to be governed by your understanding or governed by something else? Why don't you stand firmly? It was only a dream. I have not done it. And we don't know why we are dreaming and what we shall dream. So leave the dream to itself. Are you living in the wakeful state or are you living in the dream state? You are living in the wakeful state. Wakeful states don't kill anybody. In the dream kill many people. उसमें क्या है, आपको क्या है? हाँ? See, the enemy is attacking the country. Enemy camps are there. One day we have a dream. Oh, Indian army has killed all the people. Is it nice or not? अच्छा तो at least in dream हुआ है. So you don't worry about the dream at all. In the same manner, whatever thoughts are functionally useful, accept them, honor them, implement them. And whatever are not good, simply understand that they are not good, say goodbye. If the thought continues to come and agitate you, remain firm. आ जाओ मुझे. जो कुछ तुम करना चाहते हो, करते रहो. I will sit firmly. Allow the thought to come. Let me see what is happening. कुछ होगा क्या? जिस प्रकार आप हुंचता है, उसी प्रकार वो मिट भी जाएगा. आपको कुछ नहीं है. This is what I wrote here. मयि अनंत महाम्भोधौ विश्वबीजिः स्वभावतः उदेतु वास्तमायातु न मे वृद्धिः न च क्षतिः. Ashtavakra spoke to Janaka Maharaja. He was a great enlightened knower. And instantly Janaka catches, understands the truth, and he suddenly utters, Mai, in me, Ananta Maham Bodhau, in me, the infinite ocean. Aap bolenge kya? What will you say? In me, the limited coconut shell called the family. This is what you will say. Just see how he reacts. Mai Ananta Maham Bodhau. In me, the great infinite ocean. Vishwa Vijihi. What? The entire universe becomes a wave. Who is the ocean here? Bodily we are in the world. Mentally the world is. सुनते हैं क्या? समझते हैं? See, the whole equation is reversed. In the perceptional level, the world is an object of perception perceived by the perceiving consciousness. So the perceiving consciousness becomes far superior, more infinite than the world. So, Mai Ananta Maham Bodhau Vishwa Vijihi. Can you think of such a person? What should be his inner stature? Am I talking sense or nonsense? Huh? What do you think of that stature? Inside our body, in the sphere of consciousness, the infinite world like a bubble is floating. तब मेरा dimension कितनी है थोड़ा सोच कर बोलिए ना. Our own skull, this grey matter alone will be able to reflect and understand it. हाथी तो हमसे बड़ा है. It has a great huge body and head. It cannot think in this manner. Only the human head can think. That is why God was very happy when He created the human body. He said, I stopped. No further evolution. The human head can understand and reflect the external as well as the internal. So, the scope of understanding is over. Understanding is divided into two sectors. External, object-based, and internal, subject-based. We generally have object knowledge and object interaction. When you equally have subject knowledge and subject interaction, khatam ho gaya. There is nothing more to understand. Name vriddhi. There is no increase in me. There is no addition in me. Nacha kshatihi. There is no reduction. There is no loss. There is no extinction. As is the body perishable, so is the consciousness imperishable. What? We are carrying a twofold identity in us. One is the perishable body, sensorily perceptible. Another is the imperishable consciousness, perceptible only to the discrete intelligence. Am I explaining the subject properly? Huh? I think I am explaining it very well. Huh? See, I want people to understand it. अरे क्या बात है? A chitta deridrada. Chitta deridrada. We are suffering from this mental poverty, which denies you the right contemplation, the right identity, the right expansion, and the right ecstasy and fulfillment. What is this? What is this? Economic poverty, I can hardly do anything about. But internal poverty, this Swamiji can do everything about. Listen to me, the internal poverty will be eliminated. Right then and there. आप बोलिए. See, the body is perishable, I agree. But the perishable body itself is there to be sensed by the imperishable consciousness. So I always say, when a human being is born, he is crowned with a twofold heredity. Bodily he is perishable. Equally so, inwardly he is imperishable. Can you not understand both and live properly? Huh? Why don't you spend at least an hour or two reading some spiritual books, doing a little contemplation, thinking if not of anything else, at least the infinite space. Come out of your house, look into the sky and see how widespread it is. We will not do it. Our vision is only on the floor and on the walls. इतना ही रह गया. थोड़ा बाहर आ जाइए ना. पेड़ पौधे कितने हैं in Delhi, there is no lack of it. I am very happy. Why don't we look at the tall trees? We don't become tall, at least we can look at the tall trees and let the mind become huge. It is so simple according to me. I have never found spirituality hard. I have found it very sweet, very endearing. You know, Srimad Bhagavatam is described to be Swadu Swadu Pade Pade, Swadu Swadu Dine Dine. It is more and more delicious, day after day, word after word. It is really so. If you start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you will find it is sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. Actually, these portions people will not understand. They will say it's dry. I want to take away this bane from our society. Spirituality hard है. मुझे लगता है गृहस्थाश्रम hard है. I don't know how you all live in your household with so much of janjat.